So, resellers. I'm pretty sure if you're into your streetwear or probably any fashion, you're aware of resellers. If you ain't, here's a quick rundown. A reseller is a person or a company that buys a product. For example, let's say a trainer. They'll buy as many of this product as they can get their hands on and mark up the price to make a profit. They are reselling a product. Reseller. Quite obvious. And me personally, I don't really have anything wrong with reselling. Like, if someone's willing to pay 2-3 times retail price for a trainer or a hoodie, a bag, anything really, what's the problem if someone wants to pay the mad price that someone else is going to set? Me personally, I've used a few reselling websites before to get like trainers I want, or again like a hoodie, but I'll purposefully wait until I get a decent price, or the price goes down to a point where I am happy to pay, really. The main reason I feel people may dislike resellers is due to the effect that they probably have on like common people who are just trying to get their hands on a product that they like. Like, for example, let's use Panda Dunks for an example. Back when the Panda Dunk was first launched in March 2021, nearly everybody wanted a pair, which made them really, really hard to get hold of. Either on the sneakers app or even in stores, it was quite impossible. So obviously, as soon as the restocks were announced, only a few months later, they became even harder to get hold of. Well, hard to get hold of at retail price. Resellers, people with bots snapped all of them up on the apps, while some resellers went to stores or even like retail park or centres and got as many pairs as they could before the common customer could even walk into a store and try a pair on. Pandas peaked at a price of nearly £270 in their UK 6. Bearing in mind the retail price at the time was roughly $89.99 to $94.99, depending on which retail you bought them from. Whereas now you can pick them up for £106 on StockX. Roughly around 4,000 pairs have been sold of these pandas, which ain't obviously included in places like Laced, Kick Game, Origin Kicks, or even other reselling stores just like them. So I guess the question is, what are companies like Nike, Adidas, even New Balance now, like what are they doing to prevent resellers? In the past few years, more than likely it's Nike who's had to deal with the most resellers due to the increase of hype over the Jordans, Jordan 1s, 4s, even Dunks. They have been probably the most sought after shoes over the past few years, so they've probably had to deal with more resellers. And so it probably doesn't come as a shock that Nike really hates resellers. But what are they doing about it? Basically nothing. Even though they have updated their terms to say that they can cancel online orders made by automated purchases, so like bots. But unfortunately for Nike, it's still too easy for resellers to make a few quid on their shoes. With their long-term return policies, resellers can buy a ton of shoes, and if they don't sell, just return them. It's not really a problem for them. End of the day, Nike is still making a bunch of money on the shoes that they sell. Whether if they get bought by resellers, bots, or just the common customer, they probably don't care because their pockets are still getting full. However, a brand that ain't scared to piss off the reselling community is the brand crtz. Owner Clint tweeted on July 12th, "Fuck the resellers." roughly 13,000 pairs of their collaboration with Nike. The airmax 95s in 3 different colorways got refunded as they were automated buys bots. But instead of just putting them back onto the website and risking bots trying to buy them again, they decided to do a pop-up shop instead in South London. People from all over the country went down to London to try their chances of getting one out of the 1,300 pairs. Some even flew from the US just to even try and get their hands on a pair. Obviously crtz is a much smaller brand than Nike or Adidas, but it makes me think, if crtz can see these automated bots buying their stuff, why can't these multi-billion companies? That's my question. Is it just us being greedy, and then these multi-billion companies don't really care because their stock's getting bought, whether it's by the resellers or whether it's by us? I guess we won't know because they won't exactly come out and tell us. But it's just questions you got to ask, because if you're missing out on something you really want and you've got to go and pay 2-3 times the retail price just to get it, you have to think, is it fair? Some people will say yes because they're profiting on it, but some will say no. In my opinion, there is some positives of reselling and being a reseller. When it comes to resellers, usually if it's one guy, you'll come across him on Depop or probably Instagram. More than likely, for me, it's been Depop. Usually it's just 1 or 2 people doing a little side hustle, and they'll end up having a chat with him, and usually you'll be able to negotiate a price that you're happy to pay. And from a personal experience, say if you keep on going back to him, you're a repeat customer, you will more likely get priority over people trying to get the shoes. But at the end of the day, there's a risk buying from a reseller because you have to verify. You got to verify the receipt, you got to make sure they are legit, but as long as you're happy with everything, it is usually a straightforward process. Just make sure you pay on PayPal. At the end of the day, it is really your own personal preference whether you agree with resellers or you don't. In reality, most people will not. Again, I sound like a broken record, but they won't pay double or sometimes even triple for a Jordan, Dunk, Yeezy, Air Max, whatever it is. But as long as there are people who do, resellers will be there. And there's nothing we can do about it until the companies that own these highly wanted products come up with a way to stop them. But like, for me, end of the day, it is what it is.